In this video, you will learn how to create a stylish Word document complete with a diagram, a picture, table of contents, cover page, and so much more. And all this you will learn from scratch because I'm assuming that you know nothing about MS Word. By the time you finish watching this video, you would be able to create Word documents much better than most experienced users of MS Word. I know that's a big promise, but watch the video till the end to see if you are able to reach there or not. I'm Ram Gopal from presentationprocess.com, the creator of Complete Word Foundation course, a course that has 8 hours of step-by-step tutorial videos with practice files, exercises, and quizzes to make you a pro in MS Word. The link is in the description box below. To open the program, go to the Start menu and start typing Word. Once you find the program, click on the program and Word opens. Now, as soon as the program opens, you will find the program in the taskbar. You right-click on the taskbar and use this option called Pin to Taskbar. Now, Word will exist in your taskbar till you remove it, which means the next time you want to open Word, you just need to go to the taskbar, click, and you would be able to open the program. Here we are inside the program. Let me click on New so we can create a new document. As soon as you hit New, you can see that there are a whole bunch of template options available in Microsoft Word. I want you to take full advantage of these free templates because they not only save you time, but also give your documents a professional look and feel. When you come down here, you can see a number of useful search terms you can use to find the templates you want. For example, I can choose templates for business or for education or for holiday. Let me try to create a simple checklist for an office dinner. Let me try to use one of the ready-made templates to improve our efficiency. When I search for checklist templates, I find a whole bunch of useful options to choose from. The trick here is not to get bogged down by the specific names of these templates. Look at these more as template types. For example, when you look at this wellness checklist, you will see a number of items and a list of parameters to check each of the items against. You can of course use this as a product comparison checklist against parameters or as a to-do list checked against urgent, important, etc. Let me close this. I like this template type called camping checklist. As soon as I click on it, I get to read a few things about what this checklist is all about. Once I am happy with what I read here, I can click on Create and that will help me create a new document called Camping Checklist. The first thing I do is to go here and give it a name so I can save it on my computer. So let us go to Save As and choose a location to save this. And it's always a good habit to save your document before you start working on the document. Let me click on Browse option. And I'm going to save this under Documents and let me call this as Office Dinner Checklist. And then I just need to hit Save. This file is saved in a location from where I can easily retrieve it. Another thing I want you to notice is when I go to File and go to Open, I notice that the file that I just saved is available here under Today, which means all the files that I would be working on today will be saved under this heading. And I can click on this file and I would be able to open the file quite easily. So this pane that you see here where you can access recent documents is a big time saver. Now there is a problem here. Tomorrow when you open Word, you will see that the same file would have moved from today to this week. And the next week it moves to last week option and then it goes to older and soon the file will vanish from this pane because there are new files that are piled on top of that file. So is there a way I can ensure that I can access this file whenever I want? Yes, you can. And we have this interesting option called Pin this item to the list. Now notice what happens to this icon as soon as I click on this. Immediately the file moves to this segment here called Pinned Documents. Now I can access this document whenever I want because it is pinned here unless I unpin it, which is once again done by just clicking on this option called Unpin this item from the list. It will continue to exist for as long as you want it. Let me go back by clicking on this. By the way, this pane that you see here is called as the back office of Word. Some of these terms are important for you to remember so you can work with Word like a pro. Let me click on this back arrow. Here we are in the document. I can edit this checklist just as I would edit my own document. For example, if I want to change this to dinner checklist, I can do so quite easily. I can always change any of these text elements, like say here I go and talk about invitation and the individual items inside it. Not only the text elements, you can also work with the graphics in the template. For example, this graph that represents a camp is not really appropriate for my purpose. So I can click on this graphic and hit delete. Now that is gone. Now this document looks more in line with what I want. Next, I don't like the colors that are used here. Instead of the shades of green that are used here, I would prefer to use shades of blue to give this document a more business-like look. At the same time, I want these colors to be vibrant because we are having a celebratory dinner here. So should I select each of the elements throughout the document and try to change their colors? Of course not. Word makes it extremely easy for you to change colors of all the elements in the document in one go with their color theme option. So I go to the Design tab, then go to the Colors option and click on the drop-down menu and choose a different color theme that is more in line with what I want. Here I can see that this is exactly the kind of colors that I'm looking for, so I can click on it. Now this document will have the color theme of my choice. The same way, if I want to change the font theme, I can do so by going to Fonts, and by clicking on the drop-down menu, I can choose a different font theme. Here I like this combination of Towson, empty, condensed, extra bold and Calibri. I can click on that and immediately the document's font theme is changed. The best part is these color and font themes are available across all the other MS Office programs as well. So I can use the same blue color theme across all my charts in Excel and all my presentations in PowerPoint to get that consistent look and feel, which is so important for brand identity. Now that we learned how to insert a template and customize it to our requirements, let us learn how to create a new document from scratch. For that, let me go to File and say New and choose this option called Blank Document, and that creates a fresh new document for me to work on. Now, before we write anything, let us save this document as Sample1. And as soon as I gave it a name, you can see the name right here in the top. Now, talking about the layout, let us first try to understand the layout that you see here. Now, this whole bunch of tools and buttons that you see here in the top portion of Word is called as the ribbon of Word. Now, this ribbon is neatly categorized into multiple tabs. Can you see here we have an Insert tab, Draw tab, Design tab, etc. And as you can imagine, each of these tabs have tools and buttons that perform a similar function. For example, when I go to the Layout tab, I have all the tools and buttons related to layout. The same way for Design, I have all the design tools under one tab and so on. Now, even inside this tab, the tools and buttons are neatly categorized into groups. Can you see here we have Pages group, which is separated from the Tables group with this vertical line. The same way we have Illustrations group, Add-ins group, Links group, Comments group, and so on. And inside a group, we have tools and buttons related to that specific group. For example, when I go to Illustrations group, I see that we have different types of illustrations. You can create illustrations with pictures, shapes, icons, 3D models, SmartArts, charts, screenshots. Can you see these are all the different types of illustrations? So naturally they are all grouped together in one group called illustrations. Please note that some groups have this option that you see here called as the launch button that allows us to expand the group. When I click on this, you can see we have this new pop-up dialog box open, which in turn has a number of tools and buttons and even tabs that you can open and some of these extra buttons that give you even more options. We also have these drop-down arrows that allow us to find more options inside a group. For example, when I click on the Styles group here, I can see more options expand. So even though at the face of it, Word might look like a simple program, but if you delve deeper, the number of options can be mind-boggling. So much so that very few users of Word ever explore the full functionalities of Word whenever they create their documents. Another interesting thing I want you to note is when you take your cursor to any specific tool or button, you would find this handy tooltip that gives you details about what that tool does and also the shortcut that you can use to access that tool. For example, if I want to increase the font size of this word, I can either use this option here and click on it, or I can use the shortcut called Control Shift, and I use this greater than symbol in my keyboard, and you can see that I'm able to increase the font size quite easily. The same way, if I want to reduce the font size, I can hit on the lesser than key, and you can see that we have the result here. These keyboard shortcuts can save you a lot of time, especially when you want to work with large complex documents. Now, talking about saving time, there is another taskbar here that can really come in handy to save you time. Let's say I'm a maths teacher and I tend to write a lot of equations in my documents. To write equations, every time I need to go to Insert and then look for the equation option and then click, and that will allow me to type my equation here. Now, what if I can place that tool in a space where I can access it quickly without having to go through multiple steps? Is it even possible? It is possible for me to do so. Let me show you how. I go to the specific tool that I like and then right click on the tool, and I get this nice option called Add to Quick Access Toolbar. Now notice that we don't have that option here. When I click on Add to Quick Access Toolbar, I get this option here, and this place that you see here can save you a lot of time, and it is called as Quick Access Toolbar. Now, while we are at this, I also want you to note down one other thing. Here we try to type an equation and immediately we see an extra tab here which was not here before. This tab has a different color compared to the other tabs, and when I click outside, you can see that that tab vanishes. The tab that comes here based on the context of what you've chosen is called as a contextual tab. You will find contextual tabs for many special functions like working with pictures, SmartArts, charts, etc. We will explore about those options as we go forward. Let us say I want to add a comment in the document, but I don't know where to find the tool in the ribbon. As you can see, there are so many tools and you can really get lost. In such a situation, it's easy for you to just search for the tool here and access it right away. For example, I can click here and say Insert, Comment, and immediately I get access to the tool. I can click on it and I would be able to insert a comment on the document. Let me close this. And to do a quick recap, all the tools and buttons that you see here in the top portion of Word is called as ribbon. A ribbon has all the tools organized into tabs, and inside a tab we have similar functions placed together called as groups, and inside a group we have similar tools and buttons. Now, right under the ribbon, the space that you see here is called as the workspace, and there is a bar that you see under the workspace called as the status bar. The status bar can be quite useful to get some basic information like the word count, the line count, and also this useful tool called as the zoom tool. Zoom tool can help you zoom out or zoom into the workspace. Now that we have a fair idea about the layout of MS Word, let us get to the business and start creating a document. Let's say I want to create a multi-chapter essay on MS Word. So we need to include some sample text so we can work with it to understand the various functionalities of Word. So does that mean I need to type out a lot of text from my imagination? No, not really. There is a short, handy formula to help us generate some sample text inside Word. And the formula is you type equals and you say rand, which is the short form for random, and then open parenthesis and closed parenthesis and hit enter. Now we have a number of paragraphs for us to work with. Now I see that this text block is too overwhelming, so I want to add some headings. So let me go here and add my first heading here. And after a couple of paragraphs, I want to include my second heading. And just for good order's sake, I'm also going to include a 4-step process, and my title is 4-step process. And you notice that I made a mistake here and Word has instantly identified it. And to rectify that mistake, I just need to right click on that word and I will get a proper suggestion. I just need to click on it and now the mistake is rectified. Now let me go to the end of the line and hit enter and write my 4 steps. Now let us go right up and give this chapter a name. So this is about Introduction to Word. Now let us go to a more interesting part. We have created some kind of base document. It is time for us to make this document look better. Now the first thing I want to do is to make my title text look different from the body text. There is a manual way to do it, which is to select the text here, increase the font size and make it bold, change the color, etc. To make my title look distinct, I can use a simpler and more importantly a proper way to format this title. I selected the text, then I go to the Home tab and use this option called Styles. Let me expand this group and I find that this is the option that I want to choose called Title, and immediately I see that my title is distinguished. The same way when I go to first heading, I can go and choose heading 1 and I can see that my heading text is visually distinct from the body text here. Let me do the same here. Let me select this text. This time I want to use a useful shortcut called F4. F4 repeats the previous command. Since the last command we used is to stylize the text as heading 1, I can hit F4 and the same function is done again. Can you see it saves you a lot of time? Let me do that once more. I select this and I hit F4. Now I have formatted my headings. Now you might think that using styles is just a way to save some time in formatting your document, right? No, there is so much more than that. When you use styles, you can make your entire document look so much more professional. How? Let us go to the Design tab and we have this magic option called Document Formatting. Let me click here and expand the menu. Now as I move my cursor over these various options, I want you to take a look at how the document here changes. As I move from here, you can see instantly the look and feel of the title, the body text, the fonts used, everything is changed. There is a different style with each of these formatting options that I see here. And some of them are really distinct, like this one. Can you see here? The title is so beautifully separated from the rest of the document. And there are some very interesting styles. Now I like this option here, so I'm going to select this. Now when I go down, you can see that my heading is right in the center and the text underneath is nicely kept under the heading. As I go down, I see that we have this title called 4-step process. And I think it would be a nice idea for us to have a separate chapter for 4-step process. So the first thing I do is to select this and then go to styles and make this a title. But then a chapter title should always be at the top of the page. Here I see that it is at the end of the page. So I naturally need to move this down and have it on its own page. Now there are two ways to approach the task. One is an amateurish way and the other one is a professional way. The amateurish way is to go to the end of the previous chapter and keep hitting enter as many times as it is required till the time the new chapter is moved to a new page. Now this might look like a good solution, but it's not. Let me show you why. When you go here and add some text, let us say I want to copy some text from here and I want to add by pressing Ctrl V. Now notice what happens to the next chapter title when I go down. Can you see here? The chapter title is pushed down that page. It is no longer at the top. That is why I call it an amateurish approach. Let me undo this by pressing Ctrl Z. Let me show you how professionals format their document. Instead of hitting enter, they choose an option called Ctrl Enter. Now the benefit of doing that is when I copy some text, paste it over here, you would notice that my next chapter title is still at the top of the page. It is these small nuances that make the difference between poor users and professional users of Word. In our complete Word Foundation course, you will find so many of these tips and tricks that you may not find in any of the books and courses. The link to the program is in the description box below. After all, when you do things the right way, Word makes it so much easier for you to create a professional looking document. For example, let us say I want to insert table of contents to this document. Since we have formatted everything the right way, I can go right to the top, go to the References tab and use this option called Table of Contents. When I click on the drop-down menu, I can see that there are a number of options that I can choose from. Let us choose the first option called Automatic Table 1 and instantly, right above my first chapter title, I have my table of contents. This allows me to access different headings quite easily. Their page numbers are created. If I want to access second heading, I can click on second heading and it takes me directly to that spot. Another benefit of formatting your document the right way is you can check your document for flow. Let me show you how. I can collapse this paragraph by going to this small arrow here. When I click on it, instantly all the text under second heading is collapsed. Let me go here and collapse first heading. Now this way I would be able to have all the headings one below the other. Once you have a clear flow between the various headings in the document, you can be sure that the entire document has a flow as well. Then I can always expand them back the way they are, and we will have a proper document organized for flow. Let's go further. Let us say that I have this new chapter which is about 4-step process. Instead of this boring bullet point list, I want to visualize this as a diagram. Is it possible? Yes, I can. I just copy this text here, press Ctrl C, which is the shortcut for copy, and then go to the Insert tab. Then we have this option called SmartArt. I click on that and I choose this option called Process. I'm going to choose this option here and say OK. I just go here, press Ctrl V, which is the shortcut for paste, and I remove all these unnecessary elements. And when I go here, I can change colors. And if I want to resize this, I can click and hold the shift button and drag from the corner to have this in the right size. And I have a nice visual representation of this 4-step process. Now let me show you a small trick. When I select this and I want to move it to the center, I am not able to do so. So how do we move it? A simple way is to click on the diagram and you see this option here in the top right corner called Layout Options. You click on it and you get the option here called as In Front of Text. You click on that. Now you would be able to move this wherever you want in the document quite easily. Now let me go up and I want to add a picture here under first heading after the first paragraph. So I'm going to hit enter. Let me go to insert. I can click on the drop down menu and I can choose from pictures from this device or from online pictures. If you are using Microsoft 365 like the way that I am doing now, I have this option called stock images where I can click and I would be able to use a whole bunch of stock images right inside Word. I can select a picture and say insert, and the picture is inserted into the document. Now you can see that this picture is taking up undue space. It is occupying the whole width of the document. I don't really want it that way. In fact, I want it as a small box and I want text around it. How do we do it? Let me first select this, hold the shift button and then click and drag from the corner. Holding the shift button ensures that this picture is resized with the proportions intact. I still find that there is this empty space here which I don't really want. I can crop the picture. How do I do that? I select this and instantly we have this option here called picture format, which is a contextual tab. I can click on it and I get this crop tool. I click on the crop tool and I can crop this image from this side. Now I see that this picture is a bit too colorful for me. I would prefer to have it more in black and white style. So let me click outside and that accepts the cropping. Now I select this, once again go to the picture format tab and here I have the option for color and I can choose a color saturation option called saturation 0%. Now I have it in black and white. Can you see we have so many ways you can work with pictures, you can have artistic effects, you can change the transparency, you can increase the contrast, you can remove background. There are so many beautiful options. Now let us say I want to have this merge with document without this hard outline. So let me go here and I have these nice picture effects to choose from. Can you see as I move my cursor over, there are these nice previews so you can make your decision. I like this option the most, which is soft edge oval. And now I have this image seamlessly merged into the document. But still my objective is not met. If you remember, I wanted the text to be next to the picture and not below the picture. So how do we achieve that? You right click on the image and then go to this option here called wrap text. You will have multiple ways in which you can wrap the text. I can wrap the text like this in square. So I have the picture to one side and I have the text on the right hand side. I can have it as tight, which means that the text is now around the perimeter of the oval. In this case, I like square. I want the second heading to be in the next line. So I hit enter by going here. Now everything looks perfect. Now we have done so much with this document. We added a title, formatted the document with styles, included a diagram, a picture and formatted the picture, added table of contents. Now all that is left for us to do is to add a nice cover page to this document. Now, is there a smart way to add a good looking cover page in Word quickly? Yes, it is possible. All I need to do is to go to Insert and go to Cover Page option. And I have a number of cover page options to choose from. When I go down, I have even more options. I like this option here. I click on it and instantly a cover page is created. When I go down, I can of course always change this as say all about Microsoft Word, and I can write my details about the document. And here my name is automatically picked from my Microsoft account, and I can write this as first semester submission. Now I see that this picture is sticking like a sore thumb. I want this to be all about Microsoft Word. So I can change this picture by right clicking on this picture, and by going to change picture, I can go to from a file. Since I've already stored Word logo in my pictures, I can go to the option here and choose Word logo and say insert. Now this cover page is perfect. It has the right logo, the right title, abstract, and every other detail that I want. And when I go down, I have everything required in a professional looking document. Now, there are just a few important tools that I want you to learn about before you can feel confident about creating good looking documents in Word yourself. The first option is inserting a text box, which is quite different from inserting a text box in other programs like PowerPoint and Excel. In Word, you can insert quotes, sidebars, and so much more. Now, talking about sidebars, you would have noticed sidebars in many of the professional documents where the author tries to provide additional information to what is being written in the main page. Since we are here to create a professional looking document, why don't we add a sidebar to our document? I can do that quite easily by going to the Insert tab, and in the text group I see text box. When I click on it, I can see that there are a number of these useful options. I can have a quote, I can have a grid quote, a grid sidebar, this banded sidebar. This is what I really like, so I'm going to select this. Now I have a sidebar title, which I can easily change as additional info, and I can add my info here. The next important option is under the Review tab, and this is to add comments to the document. One of the important things you would do while using MS Word in a corporate environment is you would be expected to collaborate with your bosses and colleagues. Now, let's say you want to discuss with your colleagues about a part of the document that you just created. You can do so quite nicely using comments in MS Word. You can insert a comment either through Insert and Comment, or you can go to the Review tab and you can use New Comment option. And I want to have the comment somewhere around this area, say New Comment, and instantly you can see that the text where I wanted to comment is now given a different color, and I can write my conversation here. What do I mean by this? Let us say this is my comment, and I hit this option here which posts the comment. Now the recipient of this document can give a cursory look at the document and can see this option here which says that there is a comment available. So as soon as the person clicks on the comment, this dialog box pops up and the person can give my reply or whatever text the person wants to write and can post. Now you see that this is a conversation. This is not just one individual comment anymore. And when you try to review your document, you can go to the previous comment, next comment. You can have all the comments shown using this option. This is a very useful feature in Word that you must know. You can save this document in OneDrive. I can go to File and go to Save As, and I have this option called OneDrive. This is a space in the cloud in your Microsoft account. When you save it in OneDrive, you can go to this option here called Share and click on this Share option, and you can share your Word document with your colleague, and both of you can work simultaneously on the same document. The next important option is track changes. Let's say you want to review a document and you want to provide your inputs in a non-destructive way. For example, I'm going to say that this portion here needs to change. So I'm going to first click on Track Changes option under Review tabs. Now the track changes is on. Can you see here? We have track changes on in the status bar. So I select this and hit delete. Can you see after parts of that portion is deleted? Immediately after that, you can see that there is this red line that is added to the document, which means when the recipient of the document clicks on this red line, immediately the change that has been made is highlighted. I open bracket and say write it this way and close bracket. You can see whatever I've written is also in red. And let us assume that the recipient decides to accept this change. He can go to accept in the review tab and go here and say accept and move to next, or the person can say accept all changes. Now the portion that is deleted remains deleted, and whatever that is written here is integrated into the main document. Now let me press Ctrl Z. Let us say the person doesn't want to accept this. They can go to reject and go to this option here and say reject all changes or reject any specific change. You can see that none of the changes that have been suggested are included in the main document. This portion that was deleted earlier remains, and whatever that is written in brackets are removed. Everything remains the way it is. That is what I mean by reviewing in a non-destructive way. Now that we finished creating and even reviewing this document, I want to do two things before we bring this video to a close. One is I want to save this document as a PDF, and second, I want to print this document. Once again, we need to go to back office. So go to File and say Export. I can export this as a PDF document by just clicking on this, and you can see that I can save it wherever I want. And when I say Publish, a new PDF document is created with the title that I've given to this document. If I want to print this document, I can go to File, go to Print, and I can see an instant preview of the various pages. I can browse through the various pages like this. And when I am happy with the look and feel of the document, I can go to Print. If I want to change the number of copies, I can make the change and I can hit Print. And if your computer is connected to the printer, you can take out the printouts and your job is done. Now, what you've learned about Word is just the tip of the iceberg. In our complete Word Foundation course, I share so many tips and tricks that I discovered working with Word for the past 2 decades. If you are a professional who needs to work with MS Word as part of your work, then investing in this highly affordable course can give you returns many folds. Please click on the link in the description box below to check out more details about this course. In the meantime, do you want to learn all the essentials of PowerPoint in under 20 minutes and impress your bosses and colleagues? Then we have just the right video for you right here. All you need to do is to click on the link here, start watching the video and get comfortable with PowerPoint. Go ahead, click on the link and learn PowerPoint the right way right now.